Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's April 17th, and right now we are looking at the infrared slash visible satellite imagery, and you can see that marine there butting up against the Southern California coastline there. Hasn't made too much progress inland, so not a bad day out there. Some sunshine to be had. You can see some high level clouds moving across the area, so if you see some contrails out there, that's because you're getting a little bit of an increase of the moisture at that level, and it kind of interacts with the particles, condenses, and forms those contrails. Now, if we're going to take a look at the extended forecaster, because we've got some interesting signals showing up here, we may actually be dealing with another storm system trying to roll in here, and we'll take a look at that. And the weather models coming up. We also may have some showers kicking off as we go on in through the upcoming days, a couple days here across mainly some of the higher terrain. Can't rule out a thunderstorm or two with some of that activity. So let's take a look at what's coming up here, though. We're definitely going to warm up. As you can see, Death Valley maybe getting up towards 101 as we get towards Saturday. Bakersfield 84 both days. You see Barstow, Baker, some of these areas really warming up quite nicely. Modesto in the lower 80s for the most part, and approaching 80 for some places up towards Sacramento as well. And now taking a look at the high temperature forecast for today, Wednesday here, April 17th, and you can see Redding and Red Bluff warming up quite nicely as well. You get a little bit away from the coastal areas and you warm up quite nicely for Stockton, Modesto, Sacramento here. And of course, cooler across the immediate coastline and across some of the higher terrain. Taking a look at the high temperatures for Thursday for Southern California, you can see the desert's really warming up here. Some warm temperatures except for the immediate coastline, pretty typical there as we start to transition more of a springtime pattern. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, it's great because it shows a little widget there for you on your smartphone, so you can kind of check that whenever you want. And it tells you when it starts raining in your house or when you get lightning strikes. It has a great smartphone app as well that stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommended. Click on that link down below to save 10%. Taking a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, about 500 millibars here, and you can kind of see that system moving through the Pacific Northwest here. And so there's a little upper level low kind of embedded in here that's going to help to try to kick off some precipitation as we go through the day Friday. And again, I'll show you a little bit more on that here in a moment. But check it out as we go off into the extended a bit more here. So as we go through next week, we're getting this trough kind of showing up here, and this may try to bring some precipitation back. So we may get another system yet in here before the end of April rolls our way, and then we start to head on in towards May. But the GFS is also showing something similar to this as well. And we'll take a look at that here. As you can see, the European is on the left, the GFS on the right. There's California, and there's the Hawaiian Islands, and the maps are duplicated here, 6-hour precipitation amounts. And as we go off into the extended forecast, you'll see this system here, and you can see the GFS has it also, and you can see it also, the European showing that precipitation, and the GFS as well. So there's something to that. We're going to be watching that one closely here. It's still a ways out there. It's 180 hours before it would start affecting California. So this would be almost a week from now exactly as we speak, but that's something fun to watch here, and we'll see what that system may or may not bring. And looking over the next couple days, I just want to kind of point this out. You can see as we go through the afternoon today, we're kicking up some of the winds across the higher terrain. Watch out if you're driving high profile vehicles across some of the desert areas. There are some brisk winds out there, and you can kind of see it continue on all the way on into Thursday morning before it starts to relax late Thursday morning here, and then kicks up again as we go through Thursday afternoon on through the desert areas again. And then as we go through Friday, we're going to kick off maybe some showery activity across the higher terrain. And I'll show you that starting now with the composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like. So what we're concentrating on here is we're rolling through Thursday here, no big deal. But as we go through Friday, you'll see some of this activity kick off across some of the higher terrain right there. Nevada, some of the Sierra Nevada. Can't rule out a thunderstorm with that activity. So if we take a look at the European, we're going to look at total precipitation in inches, and we're going to scroll through that same time frame. We're now scrolling through Thursday. You notice nothing in the meantime. But as we go on in through Thursday afternoon, you see maybe a couple showers popping off there. And as we go on in through Friday, we put a little bit of additional precipitation with that as well. And you could have a couple lightning strikes with that activity here. And this would be well in advance of that system that won't be until next week that I just talked about a little bit ago. So the GFS, we'll scroll through that really quick here too. And you can see Thursday. Now we go through Friday, and you can see it also kicking off some of that precipitation across the higher terrain. So that can catch some people off guard off in the backcountry of the Sierra Nevada. It's pretty nice this time of year for some elevations, and I just don't want to get people caught off guard for some of this thunderstorm activity as we go through the day Friday, mainly Friday afternoon. And if I put this into motion here, this is 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. This is wind speed. So if we look on into Friday, you can kind of see this little upper level low, some onshore flow. So that may kick off some of those showers. Not too big of a deal there. But if we scroll far enough out into the future here, we'll take one more look at that extended forecast as we start to move into next week. And you can see that trough digging out off the coastline here, that upper level low right off the Oregon, California border there. Again, it's still ways out there. It's 8+ days out right now, but that's an interesting trough, and the European has something to that as well. And lightning flash density potential, let's scroll on in through Friday, and you'll see the European kind of calling attention to some of that thunderstorm potential, and we'll see how that turns out. We'll look at this again closely tomorrow to see how that trends. But looking at daily 2-meter max temperatures here on the National Building Models, this is for today. The desert's warming up quite nicely, and again, all the way towards Redding and Red Bluff, 77, 78, Modesto, some 80s showing up there, and some pretty warm days across Southern California coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we notice we cool down a little bit there, so the model's trying to catch on to that trough maybe approaching in that time frame here as we go off towards the end of April. And as we've been covering this daily, not much change has been showing up here. We're still doing quite well for snow water equivalent across much of the Southwest. Lake Mead, the lower Colorado there is doing quite well, and that's where we export a lot of water off into Southern California. So it's a big deal as far as water supply is concerned. And I wanted to look at the drought monitor here again, just kind of relishing the fact that we are drought free across California. Just a couple areas have been normally dry here. There is some drought across southern Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and some of the Pacific Northwest, but still right now California is drought free. And just kind of remember this, because it's not always going to be the case. The drought is just a normal process of the climate, and it will be back. So you can kind of enjoy this while it lasts. But yeah, anyway, so watch out for that shower activity as we go through Friday. We start to get to the afternoon hours. You might kick some of that off across the higher terrain if you're planning a backcountry excursion there across some of the Sierra Nevada or out across Nevada. So heads up for that. And then we'll be watching that system through our extended forecast as well. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.